anyway, this is Conversations with UX Copenhagen, and we've been very quiet for a while. I'm actually pretty far behind on UX Copenhagen this year, but there's been a bunch of reasons, and it doesn't matter. I'm still here. We're still doing it, and we've got, oh, here comes one more. It was still going to have a fantastic program. So, hi, Charlotte, welcome. Oh, here comes, oh, Elizabeth. Okay, cool. A few more people joining. Hi. Welcome. Just so you know, we're recording because this is going to be published to YouTube later on. I've got a channel called UX Copenhagen under YouTube. So anyway, welcome. This is Conversations with UX Copenhagen. We'll start again. We're here with Anna Rátkai. Is that a correct pronunciation?
Yeah, we can say so. Yeah.
How do you say it?
Rátkai.
Rátkai. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll try to remember that. Rátkai.
Okay.
You just told me you're originally from Hungary, but you have lived in Denmark, and now you live in Gothenburg, Sweden.
Yes.
And you're doing UX there. So that's excellent. Thank you so much for being here. I'm a bit so excited to meet you. I mean, we've known each other kind of in the peripherals for many years, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So it's great to, finally see your wonderful face and talk to you.
Yeah, you're the same. I think it was like a year ago or something when we said we should get a coffee or something, online coffee.
I know. Yeah.
Now it's happening, so I'm really, really happy.
Yeah, me too. Thank you. And we're going to be talking about a talk proposal that you sent to me for, actually you sent one for 23, but it was maybe a month before the conference, I think. But so anyways, you still have a lot of really interesting things to say, and your talk will tie up to the theme for 2024, which is degrowth and consumerism, which I'm really excited about. But first of all, I want to say that UX Copenhagen is always a safe space. I want it to be a stage where people can voice whatever they need to voice, and that they will be safe in doing so, just so that everybody knows. There is no tolerance for any kind of harassment, and we've got a code of conduct. Anybody in this meeting and anybody at the conference adheres to that code of conference, code of conduct, same name. Anyways, with that said, I've never had any problems, by the way, so it's not, I just want to say it. So Hannah, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey into UX, first of all, and then we'll get into the topic of your talk.
Sure.
Yeah.
So at the moment, I'm a UX researcher in Gothenburg at a company called Recorded Future, and we work with cybersecurity. So it's very, very different from what we are going to talk about today. But I think it's always good to know this context, because one time I forgot to mention, and then people come to me, with that they thought that I'm working with this topic that we are going to talk about today, and yeah, it got awkward when I was like, oh, I don't work with that. That's not my main job. That's my side passion project. So yeah, my journey to UX was a long one. Started with learning about business and then branding, communication, and meshed it all together. When my boyfriend, he's working with software engineering, and then he was the one telling me about UX, and that's something that could fit my profile and previous education and knowledge. So a lot of thank you for him or to him. Should I say more?
Sure, if you want, if you have.
No.
So you told me you started in Herning, which is it's in a different. It's very far from Copenhagen, I'll say. So it's in the suburbs, in the country, actually. And it's funny because Anna was just telling me that was her entry into Denmark, was Herning, is provincial, very far from Copenhagen, very far from any kind of big city. And it's so funny because both my mom and grandma are from Herning, and my coworker Lone is also from Herning. So I mean, that's the center of the world, we just said.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, it's a good place. I mean, it's a fashion. It used to be very much for textiles. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and then they have the school still there, and they have the branding course. So yeah, that was my like first thing in Denmark, coming for education.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I'm glad you were here. And you said you didn't learn too much Danish?
I tried, I promise, but Danish is not an easy language, at least not for me. So
Oh, totally. How's Swedish then? Is that easier?
yes, for
Really?
me, yeah, personally, I think it's the pronunciation. Like for Danish, it's the written language and the spoken language is so different.
Yeah.
And then for Swedish, for me, it's so much more obvious or straightforward.
Yeah.
By
And
the way,
also,
I have an echo. Do you have anything like? Or you
no,
can
I'm
hear
not.
me?
I hear you very fine. Now, what does everybody else say? How's your sound? And hi, Elizabeth. Does it sound okay? Pardon?
Hi. Hi, Helle.
Hi.
Okay, but if anyone else doesn't have it, then it's okay.
Yeah, let us know if we need to do something.
I can hear an echo.
An echo.
Yeah.
Maybe I should try putting on headphones. Does that? Oh, it's the wrong ones. Never mind. Okay. Shoot. I'm not sure what to do.
No, it's okay.
No,
I think
it's okay?
You're fine. Yeah.
I turned off the microphone. Okay, but so Anna, why don't you tell us about your topic for the talk and where it came from and that kind of thing, and then I'll try to mess with the sound.
Sure.
Thanks.
Okay, so I prepared a 5-minute elevator pitch, but really I wanted to start with pointing out the problem, which is overconsumption. Like we have an overconsumption problem, and since we are preparing for a conference focused on like consumerism and degrowth, I'm assuming that this is not coming as a shock to anyone, or I'm sure that you kind of agree. But really, where I come into the picture, or my topic comes into the picture, is the process of the consumption, and it relates to persuasive e-commerce design. So as of today, e-commerce is deliberately designed to encourage the users to buy more and more and more. So just thinking about like these scarcity messages like limited edition, or only one left in stock, hurry, buy now, or for example, social proof, again, like messaging like bestseller and trending. So all these persuasive messages, persuasive design techniques, and I have plenty of other examples, so we can talk about them later, but they are intentionally applied in the design to encourage the user to buy more and more and more things that they originally didn't intend to, which contributes to the problem of overconsumption. And overconsumption is a big part of problems with environment and climate change. And then to start with, I wanted to mention highlight 3 points. The first one is that so far the problem of persuasive design in e-commerce and overconsumption or excessive consumption, this is not a recognized problem. So if you search on Google persuasive design, e-commerce, UX, then you will find articles after articles encouraging UX designers to apply persuasion in e-commerce to turn browsers into buyers and then increase sales conversion and stuff like that. So really the first step for us designers, design community, is to recognize that we have a problem, and our designs, our job, or like work applying the persuasive techniques, is part of the problem. We are facilitating unsustainable user behavior. The second point I wanted to highlight is that we can apply persuasion in e-commerce because as designers, we are so lucky that today we have a lot of knowledge and understanding about how people think, how our users make decisions, and we can we can apply this knowledge in our design to influence user behavior. And just like understanding that we have this power and all the tools at our hand, we have to also be really mindful to what end we use this power and knowledge. If we want to intentionally support, unsustainable user behavior again. And then the third point is there should be an alternative way to design e-commerce, which I don't think there is today. There is something existing in my head. It's called kind commerce. So it really is just like designing e-commerce in a way that gives the user the time and the space to make more mindful and intentional purchase decisions. And it doesn't mean that we compromise on aesthetics, findability, or usability, but it's really, supporting mindful consumption. And again, this is something that I'm thinking about, I'm building in my head, and but hopefully by March, I'm going to have something more tangible to show. So that's the plan. So just like very quick 3 points, and happy to discuss any thoughts and comments.
Well, the first thing that comes to my mind is, by the way, this is going to be a fantastic talk, and I can't wait for it. And it's something that's on my mind as well. We have to stop over consuming, and how do we do it? So the first thing that comes to mind is, well, how do we persuade management about this? Because of course they want people to overconsume. Of course they want people to convert.
Yes.
So what do we do?
And I don't think it's gonna happen overnight. So there is, I'm writing an article, and then I have like this mapping. Maybe can I share my screen?
Absolutely. Can I?
Okay.
Let's see. Hold on.
Yeah, I'm holding.
Sorry.
Okay.
I used to use Zoom, and I just stopped using Zoom. So now I am new to this. Add as co-host. Here we go. I think you should.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm. I'm approaching this, or I'm answering this question in a bit of a curve, but really, what I wanted to map out here is, yes, the business needs to change how they think about, ultimately, really their business model should change. But as designers, we have really should I read, or
please continue? It's fine. We'll take questions later. Yeah.
Okay. So ideally we would change business models and not just practices, but since that's like a huge change and we individually can't really influence that, I think the approach that we can take as designers is to fight for change together. So maybe first of all, as I said, we have to recognize that this is a problem, and once we recognize that this is a problem, we will be able to give it a name, talk about it, bring it up with more designers, more people in leadership positions, decision-making positions, and hopefully eventually, if we have a name for it, if we can measure it, then hopefully it goes up to laws and the regulation level, and then there will be some laws and regulations. So the example I like to bring is, for example, dark patterns. Dark patterns wasn't a thing like 15 years ago, but once we started to talk about it as dark patterns, and then we had them defined, then it was much easier to know, call out companies that are applying dark patterns. And now plenty of designers know about dark patterns, and then they say no to applying them. So long answer to your question. But yeah, like I see it as a gradual shift, and I think like engagement in this question from the community, from designers, is crucial.
Yeah, definitely. The Sustainable UX Network will also be here for the conference. Torsten Jonas. Yeah, so that could also be a subject that they could maybe take up. I think. Yeah, I love that. That was awesome. I love that you've done a whole mural board on that already, like the flow chart. That's great.
Yeah.
And I think that, I think it is, I think we do have the power to convince management about, not overproducing, but if they produce the exact right amount of items, whatever needs to be produced, then nobody's wasting money, right?
Yeah.
So we can focus, just shift the focus, I think, is something that we need to do.
I'm also gonna take some notes. So just for like I'm taking notes about what you're saying.
Oh yeah, I'm ready to.
Okay.
And there's something else. They're not called dark patterns anymore. They're called deceptive patterns, just so you know.
Actually, I know. I was my mistake. Yes.
No worries, but it used to be wicked problems, and then it was dark problems, and now it's deceptive problems. Whatever, it's bad.
Yeah.
And it's manipulating, and we don't want to manipulate.
No.
There's another thing when you're talking about time commerce. I love that. That's I mean the title of your book right there.
Aha! Yay! Yeah. Even if it's not a book, but some kind of like a resource. I don't know. Where designers can get more inspiration on how not to pursue it for excessive consumption. So yeah.
We've been talking for years about it, but I really think that designers need the kind of Hippocratic oath that doctors have.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I just don't know. There's like a million different manifestos and stuff, but I don't really think any of it is like good enough yet. But anyway, you were talking about time commerce, and I was thinking the only thing that I've heard of is kind of friction. And I know that Patagonia, the clothing brand Patagonia, that are, some people say they're very focused on sustainability. Of course, they're very focused on business as well and capitalism. But anyway, they're probably one of the best companies out there. But they have this, I've heard that they have this friction in the shopping cart so that, you're absolutely sure. Did you want it to be dark blue? Did you want this size? Are you sure it's going to fit? So that would be the only thing that I've heard of in that category. Maybe some of the other listeners have heard of something else that, just a way to slow down people instead of just rushing into the shopping cart and just buying. Anybody want to join? Or maybe we could look at what Tiziana wrote in the. So Tiziana wrote, in USA, capitalism was pushed as an alternative to communism. Yeah, so being a patriotic American means that you're a capitalist consumer, which is absolutely true. Yep.
Yeah. So if you don't support the economy, you don't buy stuff, then that's a big problem, and you're a communist. And like the government actually pushed communism as this big enemy. And then so right after the war, that's when capitalism started, because it was a political response to communism. And now it's still kind of like that. The whole idea is like, oh, the only way to help the economy is to buy more, so that we get more money in the economy, and we get all those stuff. And then and I wanted just to make another comment on Patagonia. I don't know if you're aware of it, but recently they made the only shareholder of the company is the Earth.
Yeah.
They have 100%. The Earth is the only one that have all the shares of the company, and so no individual person has share. Like the Earth is the only shareholder.
And he gave away all of his billions to whatever. But that's also a publicity stunt. That's also to get people to buy more, right?
It is, but they also the first company to start doing reusing, like reusing their, since the beginning. And In the United States last year, they closed their store for a week at Christmas, which I know for European is nothing, but for American is humongous thing that they actually close the store at Christmas time, because that's a busy time in which people go buy stuff before and after Christmas. So that was a very revolutionary thing for American, that they actually closed the store saying we want our employee to spend time with their family. So it is part of it. It's a publicity stunt, but he's also like lived what he preached always since he started the company. So I do admire him for it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Any other comments? Elizabeth was with us last year as a volunteer, actually, and helped out online, and maybe submitting a talk proposal. We've been speaking about it since March, so I'm hoping to hear something. Any comments, Elizabeth? Sorry for throwing.
It's okay. I'm looking forward to it. Actually, yeah, just be sharing that. It's been quite a hectic week for me, but I'll be sharing that soon, end of this week.
Yeah, good. Excellent. Do you have any comments? Because I mean, you live, we all tend to be in our little bubbles, and are you in Kenya?
Yeah. I'm in Kenya.
Yeah.
Nairobi, Kenya. Yeah.
Right. And so what do you think of the whole persuasive, persuasive design and stuff? Is that also widely used in Kenya?
Yeah, it actually is. So I've been catching up on like all the other presentations as well as like the ones on YouTube you mentioned. So I realized it's something that cuts across, and definitely consumer persuasion is I think it is a very important tool, especially in to be able in marketing as well. So yeah, it's something I can relate to.
Yeah. No, this is great. I mean, I can't wait to dig into this, and I hope that we get some answers on what to do about overconsumption. And there should be a few. Pardon?
In general, about overconsumption, or specifically this e-commerce that we talk about now?
No, the whole theme for the conference. I'm excited to see what, if we can get any good solutions. Yeah. Any suggestions for, what not to do anymore, and see if people agree. Yeah, because you never know.
Yeah, I guess people who are already interested in this topic would come because, like the theme of the conference is degrowth and consumerism. But I think that's super valuable to be surrounded by people who think like similarly, and then share ideas and just like bounce off of each other. So I think that's very valuable.
Sometimes, if it's not too, I mean, I think that a lot of conferences are like, a big get together where everybody agrees and everybody's like patting each other on the shoulder, saying, "Oh my God, we're so great," and what we do is so good.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be like that. I want us to talk about things that are controversial, and I had somebody last year who was at the conference say that, oh, who wants to go to a UX conference where they talk about climate change? That just doesn't belong there.
Yeah, so. I think it was a brave choice on your side, making this a theme, because not every UX designer is interested in it. So, but I'm really curious. Do you know if this has ever been done before, like a UX conference specifically focusing on consumerism and degrowth?
I don't think so.
I love it. I think it's super valuable.
Oh, thanks. I don't know. I come up with weird ideas for topics, but it comes from what we've been talking about. So the theme kind of shines through, or it becomes apparent to me when I'm putting together the talks for a certain year. So I've had what was it called? Commoning, which people, I mean, hadn't even heard of.
Mhm.
But it's kind of the same thing. It's like, going back to the old days where you would have like one farm and then everybody would come to that farm and buy stuff. And, yeah, it's a long story. But so, yeah, so my themes are kind of strange. And last year, or 23, was invisibility.
Mhm.
And that, somebody asked me, oh, why do you do these weird themes? Is that to be kind of like mysterious? No. And that idea came from the book by Caroline Criado Perez, which I mention every time I'm, talking to anybody, called Invisible Women. And
Mhm.
it's just this very factual book about how women, anything that's designed in the world is not designed for women.
Mhm.
And I get really upset when I start talking about it, but the book is super factual and it's not emotional at all. And it's just, it's a really good read.
Mhm.
So that's where that
I'm
theme.
gonna put it on my already very long reading list. But good recommendation.
I think you'll love it. Put it up on top. It's a good read. Also, if you listen to ebooks, she does the reading herself.
Ah, nice.
So
Yes, that's
like
probably a more a viable alternative at this moment. Yes.
I mean, yeah, that's what I do. I walk the dog for an hour every afternoon, so that's what I use. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, and another person I was talking to said, oh, but at these he said all designers are all what did he say? He said green, and he said liberal, and they all agree on climate change or something like that. And I was like, wait, I don't think so. I mean,
Mhm.
I don't know. Are we? Maybe the people who will come to this conference, you're right.
Yes.
But it would be really fun to have some people that are like, well, there is no climate change, or why do we have to go green? I like the way we live. Or
Yeah. I mean, okay, talking about, like my experience and what I see, I think generally we are on the same page in terms of like the way we live and stuff. It's not super sustainable, but not everyone takes action on the same level.
no.
So I think that's also, like a curious question on like, yes, I believe in climate change. I think we should do something. But then when it comes to taking action, like some of us are doing so much more than others. And yeah, I think it's just interesting.
Yeah, but it's also, it feels so hopeless. I mean, one person, okay, so I turn off the water, but does it really make a difference in the big picture?
Yeah.
I think it does. I
Yeah.
think it does. What was it? I can't remember when I said this, but not everybody has the confidence to be just one voice. But then look at Greta Thunberg, little kid who stood up and said no to the world. So
Exactly. And then I listened to this podcast. I highly recommend. I don't know the title by heart, but in the podcast they are discussing all these like behavior principles to apply for like positive like behavior change for climate change.
Yeah.
And then they discussed how just by, for example, if you are going to a coffee shop and then you bring your own mug and just like asking the barista to put the coffee in your mug, you are showing example to other people in the coffee house, and like this is happening, this is real, you are doing it. And so like the person next to you who sees this, they are going to like understand that, okay, I can also do this, someone else already has done it. So just like sometimes I think we are so unaware of the impact we are making on other people, just like having, for example, having these principles, like I'm not buying anything on Green Friday or Black Friday, sorry, and just like mentioning it to your colleague or something, they can be like, oh my God, I never thought about that.
Yeah.
So yeah, for sure. But yeah, I think like the difficulty is like measuring it, like continuously remind yourself that even though it's not like you don't have a scoreboard, but you
No.
still have an impact. So like not everything is visible, not all the time. And I think that's the difficulty. It's just to
That's
keep
a really nice thing to say to people, you know, because it's true. A lot of people have a big impact, even if you know, the things that they do are tiny.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's nice. Oh, and speaking of books and stuff, what are you reading right now? Anything good?
Okay, so I read for pleasure. I'm learning Swedish, so I just read a Swedish book, or like a book in Swedish. I'm not even sure about the title. It was about the bakery, and for work, I'm reading about the information architecture. So
Oh,
the
by Abby.
wait, this one. This one.
Yes.
Yeah.
What do you think?
It's massive.
Yes.
I'm working on the navigation stuff, so it's super super useful, practical. Yes.
Excellent. How many UXers are at your job?
14.
14. Okay.
Yeah, quite a big team. We have 3 researchers. This is in the beginning of the year. We became 3, so it's kind of new to be an actual team. We are working on laying the foundation for, you know, like a research team, and then the rest they are product designers.
Product designers, yeah.
Mhm.
That's really cool. And so they design, of course, is it mostly digital stuff, or do you have any like physical products?
No, it's digital.
Yeah.
We have a SaaS product.
Yes.
SaaS platform, yeah.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions? Maybe, I don't know. Do you have any other book recommendations now we're talking about books?
Not on the top of my head.
No. I just finished reading a really weird book. I don't know. I've read some really weird books lately, but I think it's called Blitzed, and it's about how Hitler and all the Nazis were on all these drugs.
Okay, like for real?
For real, absolutely.
Okay.
They would. I mean, that's how they would move so quickly up through Europe, because they were massively on drugs. They're like on speed,
Okay.
so that's why they could keep going for 4 days in a row.
Okay.
And Hitler was like a total junkie. He was on everything. So yeah, kind of
Wow.
crazy.
Okay.
It was a kind of weird read though, but it was really interesting. I couldn't put it down. And it was recommended to me by Dave Dylan Thomas, who's been on stage a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty interesting.
I have a question. Or do you have a question? Or can I ask?
Please go.
Okay. So because I think in what you posted on LinkedIn, you said that you got 120
300. I'm sorry.
320.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's massive. So
I got like twice that last year.
Sorry?
I got twice that last year. It was crazy. It was like 600. Yeah. Sorry.
Well,
Your question?
I'm wondering about the topics, since that you know, like the focus is degrowth and consumerism. So what kind of topics did people come up with?
There's a lot about design leadership, actually, which I think I have to do a different conference on. So yeah, those were kind of like I had a section on design leadership this year, so I don't want to do the same next year. But I think it's trending into mental health is like a big topic. And then I've got some on like different ways of like, I've got one on different ways of what's it called, agriculture. So like different ways of farming. Not sure if that's going to be on
UX?
related to UX.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So like, you know, solutions to how to on degrowth and stuff. I've also got a little subsection about health tech, I think.
Mhm.
I've got a couple of doctors that might come over.
Yeah.
I've got, yeah, that's going to be kind of crazy. And then there's another section on ageism, which I've been wanting to have on for a couple of years. So like, you know, the whole, well, maybe that's like the opposite of degrowth, because it's kind of like it's absolutely about consumerism, because the third age, what they're calling older people now, is becoming a larger and larger group
Mhm.
because people are living longer. And so, and they have a lot of money. So a lot of people want to design goods for them. So I think that, and also just, you know, ageism in general. So
Yeah.
yeah.
You know what I think would be an interesting additional to this mix?
Yeah.
Maybe like a fintech or like a financial approach, because you know, like a big portion of like sustainability is how we and what we spend our money on, and
Yes.
just like, you know, like how can we make it visible or inspire people to maybe spend less, save more, stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got one guy who's been with JP Morgan for many years. I'm not sure if he's going to talk about that, but yeah. There was this, there was like a, I don't even know what his age is, but you know, young dude who wrote me and wanted to talk, and he was from fintech. And I was like, you know, I don't, maybe I'm wrong. I didn't really want like this, you know, white 35-year-old on stage telling me about how cool their fintech is and how, for me, I mean, and maybe that was just a huge bias from my side. And also I've got this principle of, you know, I very strictly want, you know, at least 50% women and non-binaries on my stage. So I don't know, maybe that's wrong. Maybe I should call him back.
Maybe I'm not sure what's his topic, but maybe there.
No, I don't. Yeah. But he was definitely from a fintech company, and it was like, you know, I don't know. Right away, I'm just like, yeah, he just wants to get on stage so that he can sell a bunch of stuff, and you know, I just don't think it's the right stage for that.
I see.
I don't know, but maybe I'm wrong. I do have somebody else from banking who will be on stage. Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, a different way of banking. Yeah.
Have you heard about? Oh my God, I forgot the name. But they I forgot. But they teamed up with MasterCard, and they have this credit card that tracks CO2 emission from your purchases, and then you can cut off your card whenever you reach a certain CO2 amount or something like that.
Okay.
I'm gonna find the name of the company and send it to you.
Okay, cool. So Elizabeth was asking what the book was called, and it's Blitzed. Yeah, let me write it here. Blitzed. Wait, why can't I write? Okay, that's weird. I can't write. Maybe I will remove you as co-host. Sorry. Okay, I can't write. That's really weird. Elizabeth, I will send that to you later, but the book is called Blitzed, and the author is Norman Ohler, Ohler.
I'm not sure if this is correct.
Edie.
Okay,
it's fine.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was really interesting. And yeah, thank you. Yes. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. So Charlotte, can we ask you where you're from, or do you prefer not to be online?
Be anonymous. I'm from England, from London.
Okay. Thanks for joining us. May I ask how you heard about the conference?
I wanted to ask the same.
I think I was on Meetup, and then I just sort of
Okay.
searched for UX events, and then I signed up for quite a few today. So
Oh, okay. Well,
Meetup or Eventbrite.
okay.
Yeah, just
No, it's
search
great to
for
have
UX.
you. Do you have any comments on degrowth and consumerism?
Yeah, well, I was thinking it's a tricky one with kind of not in the ones making the decisions about, you know, there's stuff to sell. Your job is
Yeah.
to sell it in a way.
Yes.
It
Absolutely.
kind of limits in what we can do, but comparing it to the deceptive patterns is good.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think I'm just thinking the same lines as you. Like, how do you say, like, make this part of everything without stops? Like, those companies need excessive consumption to survive.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So yeah, I've been asked this before. Like, can you give me 3 examples of like, like things I can say today to my boss that that makes them reconsider how we design e-commerce? And I don't. So that's a gap. Like, like immediate thing, like positive business impact that comes from reducing the consumption. I don't have those today, but I really, really want them. So that's like having these conversations with other people, and like that helps a lot. But if you have any ideas, and just let me know.
So on the deceptive patterns, I guess, I haven't worked in e-commerce, so I don't know, but have you met anyone or had said no to people who've asked for deceptive patterns, or haven't heard of people who did actually say no? Just wondering.
If like a designer said like, no, I'm not going to do this, and then
like, do you know stories of people who've done that, or
good question. I actually don't know like specific stories, but for example, if you read Mike Montero's book, which is Ruined by Design, it's a have you read that?
no?
No, okay, but yeah, like that's a lot about ethics and moral code of the designer, and then like his approach, I think it's a bit how's it called, like black and white. Like you can either work for the company and then work from the inside to change things, or you can work at a company where you don't where like you're not working for a bad company, so like you don't have to apply dark patterns. I'm not even sure if I'm answering any questions. I'm just like
I'm just
this is
interested to know if you had heard of any scenarios, but it sounds like
not personally, no.
Yeah.
Like personal stories, no.
Charlotte, if you want, I did use, I was able to persuade a client not to use dark patterns, but the only way I was able to do it, or at least the most persuasive, was to remind them that it's against the law and they're gonna be fined, which is not very exciting. But I also told all the other advantages, but at the end it was like, well, it's illegal, you can't do it.
Yeah.
Because it is illegal in California. So so I was supported by the law in that case. I showed them the law and how I show is illegal. But obviously it would be nicer if they agree, because it's not a good thing to do. But
Yeah.
kind of last resort. And that worked. So
Well, at least it is against the law. I didn't know that was
in California. Not
Mhm.
everywhere in the States, but I live in California. So obviously he was from California, and I could tell him, hey, in this state is illegal. So if you want to do business here, you can do that. So
That's
you know,
amazing. I think
it is.
yeah.
It is. And that's why I'm not fighting back as much with the word dark pattern, because those are the actual words in the law in California. And so even though it's better, I use deceptive pattern in general, but I also use that because those are the words in the law. And we fought so much to get that then I'm like, I'm not fighting because the name is not the right name. It's like he's in there. I'm
Yeah.
pretty happy. So that's why I use both, just because it's like the law actually said, and he explained what it is as
Mhm.
well. So nobody can say, oh, I didn't know what the DAR pattern is, because he actually explained what DAR patterns are.
Mhm.
So yeah, no, it's really awesome. I'd be happy to send you guys a copy if you want to see it. So not that he will make, I don't know about enforcement, but
Right.
we don't have to talk about enforcement, but at least it's in the law. To me, it's like it started this year, and I am super stoked about it.
Mhm.
So to me, that's amazing for US. So
I agree. I think that's great.
Mm.
And yeah, like the biggest dream, like ideal dream scenario for e-commerce persuasion, that's the same. Like having some kind of like regulation on like you can't, like apply all these persuasive designs in order to just to make users buy more and more. I think one difficult thing is that, like some of these persuasive designs that encourages excessive consumption have become so common and people expect them. So for example, recommendation, personalized recommendation, and just like seeing what's trending and stuff. So, like this is something I'm curious about. I don't know, but if you remove these things, will people feel deprived, or like will they perceive it as a less good experience because that's not what they are used to? So yeah, yeah, this is something that should be tested, I guess.
I had an idea before. We're gonna have like a what's it called? Like an ice breaking event the day before the conference
Mhm.
on the 19th. And I'm talking to Torsten Jonas about doing something with the Sustainable UX Network. And maybe we could do something where it's a co-collaboration or co-creation event where we find out what 3 things you can say to your boss. We
I
could
would love
totally
that.
do that. Let's do
Oh my
that.
god,
That
I
would
would
be
love
really
that.
fun.
Yes,
Yes. All right.
yes, let's do
That's a
it.
deal. So I'll call him after and say, all right, I know what we're doing.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
And
that would be really fun.
huh?
That would be really fun.
Yes. And I've been trying, or like, yeah, I think I got in touch with him on LinkedIn once, but I've never met him, so I'm really stoked to finally meet him. I know,
Oh,
like I see he's all over and promoting sustainable UX, so doing great work.
Yeah, he's excellent. Yeah. I've kind of adopted him as my little brother. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
But,
great.
wait, did I see correctly that you used to be on the board of Sustainable UX, but you are not anymore? Or
Yeah, so the first time ever they had like a co-creation, it was at UX Copenhagen
Mhm.
in 2021. So that's kind of like the birth of the whole thing. And I was part of that, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe someday when the kids are not living at home anymore, maybe I have more time.
Yeah, understandable.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a great resource, and he's an excellent speaker. Yeah.
Yeah. Is he going to speak at the conference?
No, but he'll be doing the co-creation event. He's spoken already twice, so, and done other co-creation. So, I've heard, I've gotten one person say to me, "Oh, you have so many, reruns. There's so many people that come back to stage." And and that kind of unfortunately got stuck in my brain, because to me, I mean, if I see like Mike Montero twice, it's going to be 2 different things, right? But and I already have 3 people coming back to stage this year, so I mean, it's going to happen. So I shouldn't really think of it, and it's brand new material, of course. So, but no, but he's going to be there for sure. So you talk to him.
Yeah, nice. Finally.
Yeah. No, it's good stuff. Tiziana, did you get to meet him last year?
yeah, I did. And it was like we connected like on LinkedIn for a long time before. So it was great to meet him. In fact, I actually had to reach out right now because I'm teaching a class on inclusivity and accessibility and sustainability for design. And so he offered to speak to the class. So I'm going to go check him. So it's like, well, you said that you would. Otherwise, I can always show the talk that he did not too long ago. But that's live. But it would be great if he could do it. We have a small class. There are only 6, but they're really into it.
Yeah.
So, and it's really great. It's like a first run, and hopefully it's going to be a mandatory class next year. So that's what I'm really hoping under human factors. So, and that would be great because that would be young designer like on their first or second year, and every design, interior, product, or UX, graphic design will take that class. So I'm hoping. So this is my trial run to see how it goes. And so it would be great to have him speak to my student. Otherwise, maybe I can interview him or something. So yeah, it's so nice. It's such a
I'm
nice.
sure he will. I'm sure he will. And there's also Isabella Mintzley. Did you speak to her last year?
Yes,
Yeah.
I talked to her as well. Yeah, and she just have a talk somewhere that I just saw, and I talked to her. So she gave me a bunch of resources to give my students. So yeah, I'm
cool.
bugging everybody.
Yeah,
So
no,
I'm gonna bug you, Anna. So wait for me because I will send you a message via LinkedIn because I'm sure you can help quite a bit. So yeah, I'm shameless.
So and there's also Tobias Carstensen who Tobias Carstensen who did the talk. He did the workshop on inclusivity too, didn't he?
I don't remember. I don't remember how you spell his name, so I can't.
Tobias. Tobias.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, Tobias Jensen. You can reach out to him definitely. He would probably also talk to your students. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Yes, I'll definitely do that. I feel bad because I know it's a small group, and so it's like not that exciting to talk to like 6 people. But
yes, it is. Sure, it is. But I taught a class of 8 in UX design. That was awesome. We had such a good time.
Right. Hey, I did too.
Yeah.
That was the lowest I did. Is like, oh, that was hard. But you do what you do, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, we're having a great time. I knew the student for a long time, so it's very easy to get discussion going, which again, very rare in US. So that you can talk about the stuff without, being reprimanded or, student feel bad and then they complain and fun.
Yeah. So does anybody have any closing remarks? Because we've already spent an hour chatting away. So any closing remarks or Anna, maybe do you have 5 minutes to stay on afterwards and we can discuss?
Absolutely. Maybe my closing remark is that it's just like great that you have this topic. I think it's so timely, so important. So thank you for doing this. And thank you for having me here and having this chat with me. I really appreciate it.
Me too. I appreciate your time. And thank you everybody for being here. I think it was a fun discussion.
Yeah, it was.
Cool. Okay. Well, we'll say thank you. And, I hope to see you at the conference, everybody. And if not, don't forget that we've got a lot of the talks published on YouTube under UX Copenhagen. So you can see talks. And next year will be the 10th event. So there's a lot of, it's a big deal.
Congrats.
10 years. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love these celebrations. So yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
So hope to see you all there. But thanks so much for joining tonight.